Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and I am super excited for this video because my boy Civil Warrior is getting a buff, and this makes me super happy because Civil Warrior's got a good kit. He's just got garbage damage. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to compare the pre-buff with the post-buff and see how it compares just on paper, because there's no footage of him yet, unfortunately, with the buff. So let's see how he looks on paper, and then we'll go from there. So let's get this going, shall we? So pre-buff, let's talk about his heal block. So pre-buff, he's got a 95% chance to inflict heal block for 3 seconds off heavy. And then if the opponent is heal blocked during a special, that opponent is then heal blocked for 10 seconds instead of 3 seconds. Now, with the new buff, he's got a 100% chance to inflict a heal block for 10 seconds. And then on hit, it pauses all heal blocks on the opponent for 6 seconds, which is really great off of a special. So that's a nice update to his heal block. So that's good because he does have a good heal block. It just needed to last a little bit longer and it needed to be guaranteed. So this is a nice little update right there with his heal block. All right, now let's talk about his armor ups, because his armor ups have a lot to do with his ability. So pre-buff, all attacks have an 8% chance to gain an armor up buff for 7 seconds. The special one will cause you to gain 4 armor up buffs for 7 seconds, and each armor up buff reduces opponent ability accuracy by 15% per armor up. Now, with the new buff, every 5th basic attack thrown by you or your opponent grants 1 armor up, and the special one gains 4 armor ups, and unless otherwise stated, the armor ups last for 11 seconds. And this is good for what we're going to talk about later on. I kind of am disappointed they didn't keep in the ability accuracy. I wish they would have done that. But you're going to see why they took that out. Although I still think the ability accuracy reduction could have been left in here per armor up buff. Capped at 100% is how I think they could have done it. But this is still good. Having the armor up buffs last longer is really important for what he's getting. And then also, of course, for his bleed and poison potency reduction. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But like I said, I wish they would have kept his ability accuracy per armor up buff. So let's continue on. All right, so let's talk his signature ability. So pre-buff grants 2 armor ups at the start of the fight for 2 seconds. Post-buff, again, 2 indefinite armor up buffs. So that's a nice bump. And then increased special damage resistance. So this one here is pretty cool, right? Blocking during the opponent's specials inflicts a passive weakness, reducing attack rating by 60%. And this is also true if blocking prior to a special 3. So that's kind of nice. That's going to make him a little bit better at taking special 3s, even though he's got the power control, which I really like about Civil Warrior. He's got the heal block and the power control, which is great. So this is kind of a nice feature. We haven't really seen this much, with the exception of maybe like Thing with his protection, and of course Iceman with his ice armor where he only takes 5%, and Korg, of course, with his rock stacks. So I do like this feature. Reducing attack rating by 60% with the special 3 is kind of nice. It gives you kind of a better chance at surviving one. All right, so now let's continue on and talk about his immunities, because I really like what they did with his immunities. So pre-buff, of course, 15% poison and bleed damage resistance for each stack of armor ups. Then post-buff, immune to nullify and stagger effects. So that's really cool. So you're not going to be able to nullify him and you're not going to be able to stagger him. So I do really like that. That's kind of a nice little thing that he's got going on. Now, of course, you could probably still fate seal him. But this is really cool. I love that he is immune to nullify and stagger. And then for each armor up active, reduce the bleed and poison potency by 25%. So they increase that up. So really, you only need 4 armor ups to have 0%, to take no damage whatsoever, and then it'll increase. So if you're on a node where it's like, you know, increase bleed by 200% or whatever, or increase bleed damage 200%, or enhanced bleed damage, that's the word I'm looking for, or enhanced poison, one of those 2 things, this is going to make him really viable for those nodes, because you can stack up those armors. So it'll increase. So if you need to get, you know, I don't know, 200% bleed reduction or 200% poison reduction, it's totally feasible with him. At least that's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong on that. but that's what I'm hoping for. But I do really like that they increased the potency by 25%. So if you run willpower and you get those debuffs on you, you're gonna heal, which is always great. And this was one of the 15% poison and bleed reduction was always a nice little tidbit that I thought Civil Warrior had in his kit, but increasing it up to 25% is really nice. Okay. Now let's talk about special attacks. Of course, the special one, that remained the same with the exception of the duration. So the duration went up from 7 seconds to 11 seconds. The special 2 pre-buff depletes 60% of the opponent's max power. It increased up to 100% chance to power burn 2 bars of power, dealing direct damage proportional to what was lost. So that's a nice increase. That's a nice buff right there. And then the special 3 pre-buff, 100% chance to power drain, depleting 55% of the opponent's power. If the opponent is reduced to 0, power lock for 6 seconds. Now with post buff, the opponent is passively power locked during this special attack. 100% chance to power drain, removing 1 bar of power. And if that power is reduced to 0, the opponent is power locked for 14 seconds. So this is a nice increase. So they really did well. Kabam did a really good job in increasing his power control. So I do like a lot of the things that they did thus far, right? With his armor ups increasing, the timing of his heal blocks increasing, the percentage of bleed and poison reduction taken based on armor ups, and of course this special. So the power control, I really like that. The thing that I don't like so far is the removal of the ability accuracy reduction. I think that was kind of a nice little thing that he had in his kit, and I'm sad to see it go. But what they did next is really cool. So they added Furies to him. So no longer is Civil Warrior going to hit like a wet noodle. So Civil Warrior can stack up to 50 Fury buffs. And each of those buffs is going to increase his attack. Now, what you do for this is if you dash back and hold block for 1.2 seconds, which really isn't that long, and I'm sure there's going to be a little timer that tells you, right? It will convert all armor up buffs into Fury buffs, each providing an increase in attack for 12 seconds. Furies are refreshed each time an armor up is converted. So anytime you get an armor up buff, and then, you know, if your Furies are going to expire and you get a armor up buff, you just dash back and hold block, it's gonna refresh those Furies. So that is pretty epic. I'm really glad that they did that with him. That's gonna help out his damage immensely. So I can see why they took out the ability accuracy and added into the Furies, because he did really need some help when it came to damage. All right, and he did get some new synergies, but unfortunately they don't really do a lot. He has, of course, all of his old synergies, and then they added the synergies with Iron Man Infinity War and Superior Iron Man, where all champions gain 155 crit damage rating. And of course, Captain America and Cap World War II, all champions gain 6% attack rating. But I wish they would have added in some more unique synergies that, you know, did some other things. But overall, like, Civil Warrior's update is really nice on paper. So I really hope it transfers over to the gameplay, and I cannot wait to play with this guy. Civil Warrior was one of my favorite champions. I always thought he had a good kit, just garbage damage. So I can't wait to test him out. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Civil Warrior's buff? Do you think he has been buffed appropriately, or do you think he could use a little more? What do you think about Kabam taking away his ability accuracy reduction and adding in the Furies and the immunities to nullify and stagger? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and enjoy this quick word from Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and if you enjoyed the mediocre MCOC video full of scrub gameplay, then show Katie some love by hitting like and subscribe, man. Katie don't ask for much. Katie did ask for this. Katie did. So do like Katie did and bug people and get you to like and subscribe, man. She's doing that MCOC beautifully, not mediocre. Katie!